So, you're thinking about moving to Canada. That's a huge step. And this explainer? This is going to be your strategic guide for making that move in 2026. We are going to break down exactly what you need to know to turn that Canadian dream into a solid plan. All right, let's dive right in. For millions of people around the world, this is the vision of Canada, right? You picture the incredible nature, the high quality of life, a place that's open and welcoming. It is a really powerful promise, and it's what draws so many people in. But you have to ask, is that the whole picture?
Okay, let's just hit the brakes for a second, because the Canada of 2026, the one you'd actually be moving to, is facing some brand new realities, and you absolutely have to be prepared for them.
So let's get into it. The unvarnished truth. Because understanding this new landscape, warts and all, is the absolute first step to making a successful move.
This number, right here, 380,000, it tells a huge story. This is the federal government's target for new permanent residents, and it signals a major shift in policy. They're pulling back from that rapid growth of the past few years and focusing on what they're calling sustainable integration. Why? Well, because there's a real strain on housing and services. The bottom line for you is this: the competition to get one of these spots is going to be fiercer than ever. So on top of that intense competition just to get in the door, you're also looking at a much higher cost of living and, yes, a nationwide housing shortage. Now, this isn't to scare you off, not at all. It's about arming you with the facts so you can build a smart, realistic strategy from day one.
And let's make this really tangible. A family of 4, you can expect to spend around $17,500 a year on groceries alone by 2026. I mean, that's a serious number. When you're building your budget, these are the kinds of figures that ground your plan in reality. And that reality, it changes dramatically depending on where you decide to land.
Now that we understand the landscape, how do we navigate it? Well, your strategy starts with probably the single most important decision you'll make: location. Because Canada is not one place. It's many different places rolled into one.
All right, let's start in central Canada, where you've got two very different options. On one hand, you have Ontario. It's the economic engine, right? A fast-paced hub for finance and tech. But it comes with the highest cost of living in the country. Then you've got Quebec. It feels totally different, very European. It's a powerhouse in AI and aerospace, and it offers amazing family benefits like subsidized childcare and much lower rents. Your choice here really comes down to your personal priorities.
Okay, now let's head west for another classic showdown. You've got British Columbia, which offers this unbeatable outdoor lifestyle and the mildest weather in Canada. No question. The catch? The housing costs are astronomical. It's a major barrier. On the other hand, there's Alberta. It's a financial haven with high wages and no provincial sales tax. The trade-off, you've probably heard about it. The winters are famously bitterly cold.
And hey, let's not forget the other Canadas, because honestly, these might be the hidden gems. The prairies, that's Saskatchewan and Manitoba, they offer real affordability and a strong sense of community. Then you've got Atlantic Canada, which is having a moment. The economy's growing, the pace of life is slower, and you'll find some of the most affordable housing in the country. These regions are absolutely incredible alternatives.
Okay, the numbers here really paint the picture of just how different your life can be. Just look at the average rent. Choosing Calgary over Vancouver could save you over $1,200 a month. Do the math on that. That's nearly $15,000 a year back in your pocket. And then there's sales tax. In Alberta, you're only paying 5%, but in Atlantic Canada or Quebec, it's 15%. That's a huge difference on every single thing you buy. This data shows what your day-to-day life is actually going to feel like financially.
So, you've done the research, you've chosen your destination. What's next? Well, those first 90 days are absolutely crucial. This is where you have to turn all that planning into action.
Think of these as your day one, non-negotiable tasks. First up, your social insurance number, or SIN. You literally cannot work legally without one. Next, apply for your provincial health card. But just be aware, some provinces like Ontario and BC have waiting periods. And finally, open a newcomer bank account. All the big Canadian banks have special packages just for you, which makes things a lot easier.
Okay, now for a little bit of hard-won advice, the kind of stuff you might not read in the official brochures. Landlords will almost always ask for the first and last month's rent right up front, mainly because you won't have a Canadian credit history, so be ready for that big expense. And please, do not underestimate the cold. I'm serious. Budget at least $500 per person for a proper winter coat and boots. It's not a luxury, it's a matter of safety and comfort.
All right,
In this final section, we are going to confront the 3 biggest hurdles, the real-world challenges that can honestly make or break your entire experience. Knowing what these are and having a strategy for them is everything.
Ah yes, the classic. This is probably the single most frustrating phrase you will hear. Highly skilled, incredibly experienced professionals arrive, and they're told, again and again, they lack Canadian experience. It is an infuriating catch-22.
So how do you beat it? What's the strategy? First, be prepared to take what's often called a survival job, anything to just get into the workforce. At the same time, volunteer in your actual field to start building a local network. The goal here is simple. Get Canadian names and Canadian companies on your resume as quickly as you possibly can.
Next up is the housing crisis. And let me tell you, it's not an exaggeration. With rental vacancy rates in major cities dipping below 1.5%, finding a place to live feels like a competitive sport. I mean, you hear about bidding wars just for a basic apartment. This isn't just an inconvenience. It's a huge source of stress and financial strain for new arrivals.
So what's the smart play here? The most effective strategy is to look beyond the obvious, beyond Toronto and Vancouver. Your chances of finding a good place and your overall quality of life are going to be so much higher in mid-sized cities like London, Ontario, or Winnipeg, Manitoba, or Moncton, New Brunswick. Your income will just go so much further there.
And finally, for those of you in regulated professions, I'm talking engineers, nurses, architects, you name it, this is a big one. Getting your foreign credentials recognized can be a long, complicated, and pretty expensive process. Many people arrive thinking their qualifications will just transfer over, only to find a mountain of paperwork and exams waiting for them.
The key here is to be proactive. You have to get ahead of the game. Start your credential assessment with an organization like WES or ICAS before you even leave your home country. And while you're at it, research bridging programs at Canadian colleges. These are designed specifically to help you meet those local licensing requirements and get you into your field faster.
So there you have it. We've covered the new reality, the strategic choices you have to make, and the very real hurdles you're going to face. You now have a clear, more realistic picture than millions of other people who are considering this exact same move. So the final question, it's not really about Canada anymore. It's about you. You know the challenges, you have a plan. Are you ready?